Everybody, welcome back to Wicked Sports, and welcome back to At the Buzzer. We're joined as always by Jack Toonan. Jack, how are you?
Brian, good. Thanks for having me.
And Ryan Flynn. Ryan, how are you?
Can't complain, Brian. Thanks for asking.
All right, so we're here to discuss the NBA in-season tournament, the very first ever. Jack, you went to an qualifying game. Did we talk about that on the? Okay, but did we talk about that on here yet?
I don't think so. No, I think Ryan went to one, and I think I went to one as well. Actually, yeah.
All
right. So we talked about Ryan, then we talked about mine.
That's awesome. Yeah. Jack, you said yours is bad. Let's get yours out of the way, and then hopefully Ryan's will have been better. What was it like going to a in-season tournament game?
I will say the hype definitely was there. I think you said that too, Ryan. Like it definitely felt like there was it felt like there was actually like truly an increased level of hype, and maybe it's because it's the Magic, and like no offense to the Magic, they're actually pretty solid this season, but like that isn't really usually an involved fan base, I guess you could say. So I wore my nice Kevin Garnett jersey and sat in the nosebleeds, but at the same time, like honestly, it was fun to watch. The court was kind of cool, and the Celtics played like dog crap. So that's kind of where we're at. But it's the only one they lost, of course. So I'm gonna stop going to in-season tournament games. But glad I could have gone. The energy was definitely there, and you could tell that at least in the Orlando market, like it felt like there was actually something on the line.
All right, and Ryan, yours is a little bit better, right?
So I don't know. Like I said, I noticed with like the younger crowd, they seemed really into the in-season thing. I mean, I think the Garden like hyped it. There was definitely like everyone had a shirt. That was pretty cool. You know, you could tell with the floor, but I don't know. I felt it especially with like I saw like younger kids were trying to get into the in-season tournament aspect of it. Again, it was earlier on in the tournament, so I think people are kind of like, what is this? What's happening? Maybe. Also, you have to take into account like the Orlando Magic for the home for them. I mean, their best shot of competing in anything this year was the in-season tournament, right? And I mean that's the in-season tournament. You know, I just think of like the Spurs, the Magic, like those really young teams where it's like their coaches want them to learn what it's like to play in games for stakes. You know.
No, definitely. Well, I guess we can kind of start there. Let's start with the Western Conference, and the Kings and the Pelicans, I think, kind of meet that criteria that you were just saying, right, Ryan? Obviously, the Kings and Pelicans both were in the playoffs last year. The Kings had a great run, but the Pelicans, they've been almost on the edge of being competitive or like, doing something here. So, how do you think this first round matchup will play out?
It's a very good matchup, honestly.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really, really good matchup. I mean, both teams they're not as young as the teams I mentioned, but they're pretty young in terms of like, the Pelicans, they haven't really all played together for a full season yet. So that's huge. And then on the other hand, you have like the Kings who like, Sabonis isn't necessarily young, but in terms of competing in the playoffs, that very much so. And like, I think him and Foxo are pretty like established at this point. Like to me, they're a pretty legitimate contending team. However, I will say for this prediction, I think if Zion is fully healthy, CJ and Ingram are out there as well. I think they're getting Alvarado back. I mean, that can't hurt. I would probably go with the Pelicans, I think.
All right, Jack, what do you think from that one?
I agree entirely, actually. I'm glad you said the Pels because I have that little bit of a New Orleans allegiance anyway. But I think I stand with that. Again, I really like how fast the Kings play in general. But I think when it comes to like just power and like if you want to talk about scoring inside, the Pelicans are your team. Jonas Valanciunas, Zion, obviously, if he's healthy. I think that's the biggest thing with the Pels is their health, right? Like, is Zion going to play? Is Valanciunas going to play? Because he's a big guy. CJ is getting older, right? BI is coming back from an injury. Like, Alvarado's coming back from an injury. So there might be some rust, I think. But if I had to pick just based on potential, I think while the Kings are probably a little bit more playoff established, like you said, right, they had a sick run, I think as would I be surprised if the Kings won? I don't think so. But I think if I had to pick a team, it would be the Pels as well.
Yeah, I'd agree. Like if I was to create a line for that game, it would be like +1.5, something like that.
Yeah, same.
And
Like,
and it could
yeah.
go either way. Like if the Kings ended up winning by 10, I wouldn't be super shocked. But I would if I'm forced to pick, I'd go Pelicans. Also, another important thing about the Pelicans, Trey Murphy, the third.
Yeah,
He's been injured. I don't think he'll be back by then, but if he's playing, I mean he's pretty
dynamic.
undoubtedly he's at least the fourth best player on that team in my opinion, probably.
Agreed.
He's really good.
Mhm.
I just like
All
the
right,
Pelicans.
well,
in general. I'm fine.
Yeah, they're a good team. I like the King. I mean, I like the Kings too.
I like both. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
It's just I don't think the Kings have enough Zion. I kind of forgot even just Zion. Like they don't have anything to stop that. Same
No.
with and then you have Valanciunas and
Yeah,
again, there's
they're
just a
both
lot. There's just a
they're
lot
both
of
running through Sabonis. Like they're steamrolling him.
Yeah.
The Pelicans could definitely really use like guys like Murphy, Alvarado. I know Dyson Daniels. I've been following a lot this year, but I know he's been kind of coming along. They kind of need more of those scrappy role defending players. Even though I think Trey Murphy III is obviously more than just that. They really would need that to stop Fox for sure because they don't have much. Obviously, with Zion, there's just no defensive presence. And then Ingram, I feel like Ingram has the potential to be a good defender, but he's not very consistent.
No, agreed.
All right, let's move on to the number 1 Lakers versus number 4 Suns. Very excited to hear all about how this will affect LeBron's legacy after he either wins or loses the in-season tournament as a 1 seed. That'll be all you hear on whatever Skip Bayless's show is now. I don't know. Did he leave? No, Shannon Sharp left. It doesn't matter.
Shannon Sharp left. Yeah.
Yeah, it's whatever. Jack, how do you see this one playing out?
I think this one's interesting. I think you want to talk about inconsistencies, and you look at these two teams. But I think especially right now in the quote unquote star power, honestly, no matter which team, if either of these teams ends up winning the in-season tournament, I'll probably just discredit it because I don't want to give either of these people or either of the folks on these teams any sort of credit. If I'm being honest, I don't know what happened the other night with the Lakers, but it was pretty gross. They lost to the Sixers really badly, like by what was probably at one point 40 points, it looked like. So again, we talk about inconsistencies and we're like, okay, well, the Lakers are at full strength, like this is what they are at this point. Austin Reeves has regressed a little bit. He's coming off the bench now. Anthony Davis just hates playing center. LeBron is, old. Like I hate to say it, but like Father Time finally looks like it's catching up a little bit. He still is excessive and explosive, but it's you can only do that for so long. And then you look at the Suns, who haven't had Brad Beal play yet. I think if I had to pick in this matchup, I'm taking the Suns anyway, even though they are really thin at the depth piece, or the Lakers. I think honestly, when it comes to like selling your assets for good players, I think the Lakers are further into that, and they're kind of where they're at this point. While the Suns have just done it, they still have those like high power pieces that they use those assets to get. So I feel like the Suns should probably take this, assuming Beal is healthy. As well. But to be honest with you, even without Brad Beal, if you give me Book and KD, I think I'm still probably taking the Suns.
Ryan, what do you think?
It's really tough because honestly, if the Lakers, I don't know if Jared Vanderbilt's playing. It looks like Hachimura and Vincent definitely will not be playing. If the Lakers had just a couple of these role players, like definitely like slotted to play, I'd probably pick the Lakers, honestly. But I guess I'm gonna go the Suns. Yeah, I think it's really tough. Again, it's just you don't know who's playing. Like I said, those 3 players I feel like are pretty big. Davis is obviously always off and on.
So hit or miss with him.
Yeah, I really don't know.
All right, well, let's move over to the East then. Number 1 Bucks versus number 4 Knicks. This should be a fun matchup. Who you got there, Ryan?
Bucks Knicks. I'm going to go Knicks. I think the Bucks beat them in the last game, but it was very close. The Bucks have, I feel like, had their struggles this year, and a lot of times when they win, they have to win very last minute, kind of through Dame. I just think, and I think the Knicks are really good, and they have a lot of good perimeter players, and we've kind of seen a lot of teams be able to attack the Bucks' relatively weak perimeter defense. So I would go Knicks. Also, I'm still so indecisive on that pick before, but I'm gonna zag, and I'm actually gonna go Lakers.
Okay.
I guess
like
AD can somewhat defend KD, I believe, and and then I'm also, and that's huge. And on top of that, I just assuming like maybe one or two of the role players are good to go. They've got a little more, I feel like, overall than the Suns.
All right. So Jack, going to the East still, unless you want to backtrack as well.
No, I'm sticking there. I'm sticking on Suns. Ryan and I will talk about it offline.
Okay. Yeah. So how do you see this Bucks and Knicks matchup playing out?
To be honest, I thought Ryan was going to go Bucks, and I was really excited to say like, nah, I'm all Knicks here. But I think I'm the Knicks as well. To be honest, when it comes to, you said perimeter already, Ryan, so I won't double down on that. But I agree. I'm thinking about just like depth at this point, right? Like the Bucks second unit, I feel like is nowhere near what the Knicks second unit looks like. If you think about Emmanuel quickly, right? There's in general like runner up for sixth man of the year. I think in general the Knicks are deeper for sure, and I don't think we've seen enough out of this new look Bucks team to really be like, yeah, like these guys are going to steamroll New York. And I think, I mean, when it comes to just wit, like grit, I guess you could say, give me New York too. Like I think Giannis is about all that. Well, Brooke Lopez also, honestly, like their interior defense is really, really good. Like you think Timberwolves-esque, I would say, but I don't want like campaign taking shots in crunch time. You know what I mean? Like I'd much rather somebody else from the bench, like Dante DiVincenzo, for example. You know, on the Knicks is like he's buried on that depth chart and he's like barely getting minutes. Like probably one of the Bucks' better players if he was there. So,
and he was on the Bucks at a point.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, right? 2 years ago, I think it was Portland. Yeah. No, not Portland. He was Golden State last year. But yeah, same thing. Like I agree with you entirely. So yeah, give me Knicks.
All right. So finally, we'll wrap up this first round in-season tournament prediction special extravaganza, if you will, with the Pacers and the Celtics. Jack, what are you thinking there?
Give me the Celtics. That's not even homerism this time. I think Tyrese Halliburton obviously is like popping off. Like he's showing like how elite he is, how he can run an offense. He's averaging, I think the last couple of games he's averaging like 30 points and like 11 assists or something crazy like that. And that's bonkers. But he's kind of popped off. Beyond that, I'm like, okay, Miles Turner, okay, old friend Aaron Nesmith, like Aaron Nesmith revenge game incoming. I'm not too worried about that. I think like it's the Celtics. Like that's what it comes down to. I think if Kristaps is healthy, I don't think this will be close. To be completely honest with you.
Ryan, do you feel the same way?
So the question is Kristaps playing because he's injured right now, and I think they said they're going to reevaluate
in a week, right?
So like that means he might. There's a good chance he doesn't play. If he doesn't play, I think it's close. I think the Pacers could just upset them. They have a bunch of really good 3-point shooters. I still feel like for us, a big thing is like the shooting can be inconsistent on a night-to-night basis.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say if Kristaps isn't playing, I'll say the Pacers to upset. But I think if Kristaps plays, I'll go Celtics.
All right. Love it. So I guess, that's what we got going on here. The in-season tournament should be fun. We'll be back, December 6th or 7th to predict the semifinals. I'm just interested to see, like, is this going to get, like, the juice that the NBA wants out of it,
Totally.
I think if the Bucks, Knicks, Lakers, Suns can't, again, it's really unfortunate that like Beal's not playing. We never know with like some of the stars on those teams, all that.
Mhm.
I think those two matchups, if those can't get like fans going, then I don't know what will. Given I
Right.
think the best one is the Kings Pelicans is probably low key like the most exciting one.
I'm
to
excited
me.
about that one. I
Yeah.
agree.
And then obviously the Celtics are Celtics. I mean, the Pacers are a super fun team to watch. So yeah, if you're not planning on it, I think all 4 of these games are going to be very good.
I agree. You know who's not rooting for the Celtics is Billy Donovan. I'll say that now. He was not happy that we had to beat them by 23 points and we were hacking. Who was it? Andre Drummond, who then missed 2 free throws just to make sure we had kept that point differential. I thought that was funny, to be honest with you. I know he
Yeah.
was upset about it, but I was actively laughing at it.
I don't really like the point thing.
Me either.
Because I think like
Players don't either.
it turns it. Yeah, I saw like Jason Tatum really doesn't like it because he felt like there were players on the Magic after the Celtics were clearly had lost that they were
Mo
just
Wagner.
going for empty bats, right, to get the stats going. I think
Yeah,
Mo Wagner
Mo-
set
Mo-
a career high, right?
He did. Yeah.
So I mean,
and again,
I get it for him. You know,
Same.
if it was Franz Wagner, it'd be pretty shameful. But Mo Wagner, you
Yeah.
got to get what you can, I guess.
get what you can. Plus, he's pissed at us for cutting him 2 years ago. So I get it.
Oh, very good point. Yeah,
Oh
We
man.
kept Cornette over him in hindsight. Anyway, sorry. Go on.
it's a
No,
little,
no.
yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, not great.
And I like Cornette, but
I do too, but I mean, I haven't
it's
seen him
not-
put up 27. So
it's not even close. Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else before we get on out of here, Jack, Ryan?
no, I'm feeling good about this. Yeah.
All right, Jack. Where can they find you online?
Best place to find me is on Twitter, and that's at Jack_Tiernan. Follow me there while I angrily tweet about the in-season tournament when the Celtics
Mhm.
probably lose. I'll be very sad. Ryan, kudos if you get that right. You can also follow me on Instagram, my disc golf page, and that's at Jack Disc Golf. So follow me those places.
Awesome, Ryan. Same thing. Anything you want to plug before we're out of here?
No, I got nothing for you, Brian.
All right. As always, channels on Twitter at Wicked Sport, other social media at Wicked Sports. This has been At the Buzzer. Very excited to see how it all plays out. And thank you guys so much for your time.
Thanks for having us,
Thanks for
Brian.
having me, Bray.
And see you all in the next one.